begin momentarily. Please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cyber Strike Activity 63 Change of Command. Today, we are here to congratulate Commander David Gutierrez for completing an incredibly successful tour and to congratulate Commander Eric Weiss on the career achievement of becoming the next CSA 63 commanding officer. We welcome a number of distinguished guests in attendance today, including Commodore Udisky, Captain Gibson, and Commander Rez. We also welcome Commander Gutierrez's wife, Erica, their 3 children, Maya, Jacob, and Noah, and his mother, Carol, and father, Ben. We welcome Commander Weiss's wife, Jennifer, their 3 children, Catherine, George, and Amy, and his mother, Judith. And most of all, a special welcome to the men and women of Cyber Strike Activity 63. The change of command ceremony is a time-honored tradition whereby the authority, responsibility, and accountability of command is formally transferred from one officer to another in full view of the crew. U.S. Navy regulations require that during a change of command ceremony, the outgoing commanding officer calls all hands to muster in the presence of the relieving officer. Orders are read by the outgoing and incoming commanding officers, and command is formally transferred with the concurrence of the immediate superior in command. This time-honored tradition will continue here today for CSA 63's change of command ceremony. Will the guests please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of colors, playing of the national anthem, and the invocation. Military guests will remain uncovered for the duration of the ceremony. Cyber Strike Activity 63. Attention. Commander, United States Navy, arriving. Cyber Strike Activity 63, arriving. Cryptologic Warfare Group 6, arriving. Captain, United States Navy, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors.
Color Guard, attention. Gary, colors. Ready, 2. Forward, march. Ready. Hold. Right. Face. Present. Colors. guard. Gary, college. Ready, two. Face.
Cyber strike activity 63 at east. Bosun, close to side boys. Ladies and gentlemen, the invocation will now be offered by Dr. Robert Mills.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for this ceremony that brings us together and reminds us not only of the strength of our armed forces, but also the freedom of our nation. We thank you for this great country and for your providential care over us, that you have sustained us through many difficult times in our history. We pray for this ceremony today that your presence will be with us. Bless all who have gathered here today. Now, God, we also want to thank you for the diligent and faithful leadership of Commander David Gutierrez as he now hands command. We're grateful for his faithful service to you, our country, those under his command and his family, and for the constant care, support of his family, for his service to you, country. We just blessings on him as he now moves through phase of life, and pray you give him wisdom as he assimilates into civilian life and determines what it is that you have next for him. Prosper him in all his efforts as he determines new ways of serving you, his country, and his family. Bless also Commander Weiss as he executes his responsibility, and that he does so with wisdom, courage, and strength. Help these men and women to be more committed to the cause of freedom, both here in the United States and around the world. And let this commitment be molded by their training and empowered by your grace. And thank you, O God, again, for all that you do for both in and out of harm's way. Keep each of these sailors and family members here today safe and rejoicing in the freedom that is ours as Americans. And it's in your precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Mills. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. It is my pleasure to introduce today's presiding officer, Captain Udisky, Commander, Cryptologic Warfare Group 6.
All right. All right. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you hear me? It is truly a privilege to be here today to preside over this time-honored tradition and to honor two stellar officers, Commander David Gutierrez and Commander Eric Weiss. And as we begin, allow me to first call our attention to the obvious that we are still living in an unprecedented and extraordinary time that is preventing us from bringing together the full complement of people that we would like to have here with us today. But while we are still fighting through the wake of this pandemic, we have made progress, and we are thankful to be here today in person to properly recognize this formal transfer of authority. So welcome and thank you for being here. Anyone who's been in or around the Navy knows that those of us in uniform can't go it alone. We could never achieve even a fraction of our goals and accomplishments without the support of our families. So I would like to extend an especially warm welcome and thank you to the Gutierrez and the Weiss families. Your contributions, sacrifices, and support are unquestionably the foundation of our success. So as I've previously stated, it's an honor to provide over this time-honored Navy tradition that marks the formal and uninterrupted transfer of authority and responsibility of command. Our charge of command, which we sign and acknowledge, clearly states that command is the foundation upon which our Navy rests. It also states, and I quote, that as a commanding officer, you have been identified as worthy of the privilege of command. The decision to select you for command, you were selected based on your demonstrated past performance and the trust and confidence that senior Navy leaders have in you to lead sailors under your charge. And indeed, the two of you have proven yourselves more than worthy. Dave, you've been an incredible leader for CSA 63, and you've accomplished extraordinary things, all while fostering a command climate where your sailors could not just excel, but thrive. You've led with a firm hand, but a friendly face. And it's clear that you've not only gained the trust and confidence of your senior Navy leaders, but also the trust and confidence of those you have led so well. So, as we prepare to say farewell to Skipper Gutierrez, I'd like to start with a brief flashback to how he ended up in the seat. So, when he was screened for command, I was in Millington as the detailer who had to slate him to his command assignment. And that conversation went something like, and you'll remember this, like, hey, Dave, I know you weren't really expecting this, but, and that's like never the phone call you want to get from your detailer. It's not going to go well, right? So I know you weren't expecting this, but I really, really need to move you sooner than we talked about, like now, because we really need somebody to fill CSA 63, to which Dave said, but man, that's not what we talked about. And I'm not really a cyber guy. To which I said, I know, but we really, really need somebody for CSA 63. And you're at Cybercom, so you should be a pretty good fit. And Dave wasn't exactly buying what I was selling at that point. But eventually he took it like a champ and embraced it like the incredible leader he is. And man, was CSA 63 lucky. Dave turned out to be exactly the right fit for the command. And I think his crew will tell you that. So, and he even ended up to be what I and most others would consider to now be a pretty good cyber guy. And he's dedicated the last 3 years to leading and developing our Navy's finest cyber warriors. Warriors who are engaged in some of the most demanding and mentally challenging work our Navy performs. And the accomplishments of the command under Dave's leadership are truly impressive. During his time as executive officer and then commanding officer, Dave was the driving force and champion for every initiative that led to the command's success. He consistently displayed visionary leadership in a dynamic and resource-scarce, some may say non-existent, environment to ensure seven Cyber National Mission Force teams were ready and able to answer the call for our Navy and nation. Through tireless man, train, and equip efforts, he provided a combat-ready force that highest priority, no failments, including the effort to defend the 2020 presidential election. Innovative and resourceful, he also drove cyber warfare training initiatives to overcome significant training gaps across the force. He matured an organic cyber warfare training team, producing groundbreaking, previously non-existent foundational training that is now available to the entire CNMF. And I'll stop there to just offer a glimpse of Dave's operational achievements, because I know Captain Johnson has a lot to say about that and what he's done for the CNMF. But I will add that Dave is not just about mission, he's also about people. Faced with a lack of organic, administrative, and logistical support to run the command, he ensured his team of over 320 sailors and civilians were postured to excel. He transitioned the command's administrative processes to an electronic correspondence system, ensuring warfighters were focused on warfighting instead of administrative distractions. He also realized a vision to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19 through procurement of IT equipment that enabled effective telework across the force. And he established the command's resiliency team and aggressively drove improvements to morale and quality of life for sailors. And Dave is all about sailors, for sure. Ultimately, his innovative style, creative solutions, and genuine care for his team created a profound and positive effect on the nation's ability to deliver operational outcomes in cyberspace. And he has definitely set conditions for the command's continued success well into the future. Dave, I know you poured your heart and soul into this command. And your determined leadership and ability to build and lead your team to success will long be remembered. Well done. And as we close one successful chapter in this outstanding command's history and evolution, and it's still very young, I have no doubt that the next chapter will be just as bright. Eric, you have huge shoes to fill, but I know you're up to the task. Your blend of demanding sea and shore assignments, along with your broad scope and understanding of SIGINT, electronic warfare, and cyber operations, this one came to the command as a cyber guy, will serve you well as you write the next chapter for CSA 63. Your reputation is superb, and your work here as executive officer has been nothing short of phenomenal. You are truly the right person at the right time to continue building on Dave's success and lead the command into the future. I look forward to what you and the team will accomplish. I will say that the challenges facing this command and our Navy and nation as a whole are getting more complex and more immense with each passing day. We must embrace those challenges and make every effort to harness our collective power to ensure we can defend our nation and defeat our adversaries. These two amazing leaders have done just that. Dave and Eric, well done, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you, Commodore Udisky. It is my pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker, Captain Joe Johnson.
Still sucking up, I'll tell you that. It's pretty impressive. Okay, good morning, everybody. It's great to see you all here in person. Commodore Udisky, it's a pleasure to share the stage with you today. Congrats again on assuming command of CWG-6 a few months ago. I hope you're enjoying the job as much as I did. Skipper Gutierrez, I appreciate you asking me to speak today. But I have to admit, I was a bit skeptical when you originally asked me to do this a few months back. So ladies and gentlemen, if you know Dave Gutierrez, you know he's a real funny guy. Always quick with a joke or a good-natured jab, even with people far senior to him. You know, I've known him since he was a lieutenant and I was a commander back at NSA Hawaii. And I can't count the number of times he's cracked a joke about how chronologically gifted I am. So when he asked me to speak, I honestly didn't know if it's because he thought I'd have something interesting to say or if he was just magnanimously throwing a bone to an old and soon-to-retire sailor. But Dave, either way, I'll take it. Thank you for the opportunity to participate today. It is truly an honor. Now, Dave and I also shared a stage together as well back on December 7th of 2018 when Sharon Pinder relieved Deb Yusko as the skipper of CSA 63. Dave had just recently assumed duties as the command's executive officer, and he was the MC for the ceremony. And I remember how proud I was that day, officiating a ceremony to transfer the command between Deb and Sharon, two outstanding naval officers, and knowing that Dave would be next in line to command CSA 63. As the Commodore at the time, I knew that the command would be in great hands for years to come. And now today it has come full circle, both as the former Commodore and as the current Deputy Commander of the Cyber National Mission Force, or CNMF for short. I can tell you that it has been a remarkable 17 months for the command. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to each of you for making a point and a priority to be here today to witness the formal transfer of command between two of the Navy's finest. To recognize Skipper Gutierrez's distinguished tenure as the commanding officer, to acknowledge the tremendous accomplishments of Team 63, and to welcome Commander Eric Weiss as he fleets up to take the helm of this outstanding command. As the MC mentioned earlier, the U.S. Navy's change of command ceremonies, they're steeped in history, custom, and tradition. Back in the days of sail, the ship's crew would be called to muster so that the outgoing and incoming commanding officers could publicly read their orders and demonstrate an orderly and legitimate transfer of authority, accountability, and responsibility. Today's ceremony honors our collective heritage and those who have gone before us. So bravo Zulu to the entire team. Today. Commodore Udisky recognized the two wonderful families with us today, but I'd like to pile onto that as well. To Erica, Maya, Jacob, and Noah, we simply wouldn't be here today if it weren't for your love and support throughout your husband and dad's career. Every one of us needs a strong foundation and help along the way. Some of us maybe more than others. But, and you've been that and much more for Dave. I know that you're very proud of him, but please also be proud of yourselves because all of his accomplishments, accolades, awards, they likewise belong to you. A big welcome to Dave's parents, Ben and Carol Barreras. Dave tells me that some in the room call you Gramps and Yaya. Is that true? I love it. My thanks to both of you for raising the man sitting here today. His many accomplishments during this tour, as well as those across his entire career, are a testament to the love and sacrifices you have freely given him throughout his life. Well done to you both. Dave's younger brother, Adam, is also here. He's a naval officer and a helicopter pilot. Adam, thank you for your own service to our Navy and nation. So incidentally, Adam, I thought you should know that Dave told me he has a nickname for you as well, but I am not repeating that word in this open forum. I'll leave that to the two of you. Dave's Uncle Jim and Aunt Sharon, as well as Erica's Uncle Craig and Aunt Mary Ann, are also here. Jim, I understand that you served in the Air Force during Vietnam. Thank you, sir, for your service. To all of Dave's family, thanks for all you've done over the years to enable his service to our country and for ensuring that he knows family is what keeps each of us focused and grounded. To the Weiss family, Jennifer, Katie, Amy, and George, thanks for all you have done to sustain your husband and father in your collective Navy journey thus far. To Eric's mom, Mrs. Weiss, thanks to you and your husband, whom I'm certain is with us in spirit, for instilling in Eric the character and qualities that sustain him. Your 50 years as a nurse and Mr. Weiss's nearly 20 years as a firefighter set an example of selfless service for your son and for others. Eric will achieve great success in command because all of you represent the foundation that will help him navigate the coming challenges and humbly accept the rewards. Although he's not here today, I would also like to give a shout out to Eric's cousin, Steve. He's a retired Navy captain who pushed Eric toward a career in cryptology. Thanks, Steve. Your mentorship and sage counsel early in Eric's career have made today possible. I know that these two families are extremely proud of their sailors and that Dave and Eric draw great strength and inspiration from them. So please, let's give the families a huge round of applause. As we celebrate today's transition, it is important for us to recognize what Skipper Gutierrez and his crew have accomplished. Over the last year and a half, Dave has given his all to continue shaping a young command, just 4.5 years old, into an organization that provides elite offensive cyber capabilities to operational commanders and to develop and empower the most important thing, his crew of outstanding sailors and civilians. Dave, this has been a pinnacle tour for you. One, because it marks the end of your impressive, but more importantly, because you accomplished for the command, Group 6, 10th Fleet, our Navy, and for the CNMF. You have cultivated lasting relationships. You have trained and mentored today's sailors and tomorrow's leaders, and you have established benchmarks to emulate across our nation's cyber force. You and Team 63 can be justifiably proud of what you have built together and for what you have contributed as the Navy's sole offensive cyber capability that targets our adversaries' cyber actors, our hack-the-hacker force, if you will. Dave has taken ownership and commanded in every way. He continued to develop the command and its identity. He empowered and developed the crew, and he generated value, advantage, and effective combat power in the cyber domain to the detriment of our adversaries. And he did all of this despite Navy-wide and frankly military-wide challenges that we face in recruiting, training, and retaining our cyber warriors. To meet some of these particular challenges head on, Dave and the team, as the Commodore mentioned, established the Cyber Warfare Training Team. Without external resources, he proactively created the team out of hide and then empowered it to create and lead initiatives that address significant training gaps. This team creates content, courses, and assessment capabilities that ultimately result in a more ready and lethal force. I can personally attest to that because CSA 63's 4 national mission teams and 3 national support teams are operationally aligned under the CNMF, and I've had the good fortune to see them mature and take the fight to our adversaries. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in fact in daily contact with our adversaries in the cyber domain, something we can't necessarily say for the air, land, sea, and space domains. While we can't openly discuss details, you can read or listen to the news reporting and draw your own conclusions. In the cyber domain, it's not just about strategic competition with our near-peer competitors. Other nations continue to develop and execute cyber capabilities as an asymmetric threat in the absence of comparative military strength. Threats in cyberspace will continue to mount, making our collective work increasingly more important. Our cyber force is in the warfighting business. We must be ready. We must build and support the most lethal force possible, and we must ensure survivability in the face of current and future threats. Dave Gutierrez and CSA 63 are doing exactly that. Back in June of 2019, when I arrived at CNMF, it was itself still a young command, and we had not yet conducted any cyber effects operations. Things picked up quickly as we geared up to defend the 2020 presidential election from malicious cyber and malign influence activities. Since that time, CSA 63's cyber teams have contributed significantly, executing offensive cyber effects against multiple nation-state actors to include those who attempted to influence our election. The team also took action to disrupt an adversary cyber's unfettered access to networks in Afghanistan, ultimately eliminating a force protection threat to friendly forces during our withdrawal from Afghanistan. Against another nation-state adversary, elements of Team 63 executed the largest offensive operation in Cyber Command's history, expelling malicious cyber actors from several hundred victim devices in numerous countries. Finally, they eliminated another adversary's ability to track friendly forces' movements, readiness, and personnel. Each of these operations were central to CNMF's mission to defend the nation against malicious cyber actors, and they were all briefed to the highest levels of our nation's leadership. In addition to cyber effects operations, Team 63 also filled key leadership roles within CNMF's subordinate task forces, provided crucial all-source and signals intelligence, delivered insightful reporting, and conducted complex analysis of adversary malware and tools. To the men and women of CSA 63, thanks for flawlessly and professionally executing your missions. The nation is safer because of your efforts. Many of you may have heard the expression, mission first, people always. Based on what I just covered, there's no question that Dave capably led his team to excel at mission accomplishment. But he also instinctively excelled at the people piece. During his tour as CO, the command experienced many highs, but also some tragic lows. Through it all, Dave's top priority was always to take care of his crew. I know this because he reached out to mentors on multiple occasions for advice, for a sounding board, or just to talk through difficult challenges. When going through leadership courses, prospective commanding officers are advised to utilize their mentors, peers, former COs, but many do not regularly do this. I was impressed and always glad to answer whenever Dave reached out. It said a lot about Dave because every single time, he simply wanted to use every resource at his disposal to ensure that he was doing right by his crew. And often our discussions ended up being two-way mentorship sessions, as I learned a few things from Dave, different viewpoints, new perspectives, or even a fresh new old age joke at my expense. To get some perspective on Dave's impact, I did a little undercover work. Unbeknownst to him, I reached out to the crew of CSA 63. I asked them to send me a single word that came to mind when they thought of their skipper. Now, I did run this idea by Eric Weiss first, and as you might expect from a good XO, he expressed a little concern about me going straight, VFR direct to the command. I acknowledged but politely disregarded Eric, and I'm sorry, but it all worked out. I received some great responses from across the command, from E3 to 04, as well as civilians. Here are some of the words that I got. Aggressive, humble, perceptive, resolve, forbearance, altruist, patient, invested, thoughtful, witty, genuine, bold, authentic, and baller. Many people simply couldn't limit themselves to a single word. One individual wrote, 2 words describe Commander Gutierrez would be charismatic and caring. Sorry, I have a lot more, but those are simply the best 2 words that come to mind. Couldn't limit myself to just one. Another wrote, I would refer to him as steadfast and resolute. I'd also refer to him as comedic, but steadfast was what came to mind first. Another submission was humorous. He enjoys making others feel at ease and have a laugh whenever possible. Another input was sassy, as in bold or fresh in a very good way. Sassy. And finally, I got this thoughtful response from a junior sailor. In a single word, Commander Gutierrez is altruistic. In more than one word, he is unselfish, caring, knows his sailors, and reigns but does not rule. Micromanaging isn't in his personal vocabulary. I was honored to have him as skipper for my first tour. Ladies and gentlemen, I can relate to all of those inputs, especially those relating to the humor piece. Let me give you just one example. Early one Saturday night back in March, I got an out of the blue text from Dave. He was at a dinner or a function of some kind, and he happened to be chatting with an agency civilian with whom I used to work. I'll just call her D. Here was the text exchange. Hanging with D. She said, "You were the worst boss ever." I felt obligated to concur. So I gave him an LOL and I asked him to tell her hi for me. And Dave responded, "Will do. Actually, she said you were the epitome of a Navy captain and an amazing boss." I was like, I call BS. So I told him I had zero doubt that he had really said that to her. And his response was, "Ha, ha, 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 ha. I did, but you're still my first call for advice. After my mom and dad and bum on the street. But then you, sir." So I've been dealing with that for 15 years now. So it's good stuff. Yeah. In all seriousness, Dave, I can't say it any better than your crew did. You've done a great job as the CO of this awesome command, and you have postured it for continued success. Under your capable leadership, CSA 63 has flourished as individuals and as a team that has consistently punched well above its weight and demonstrated time and again that it is far greater than the sum of its parts. You have prepared the crew for a cyber marathon that is well underway. As a finish, but because of your guidance, Team 63 will press on and our nation will benefit. Bravo Zulu on a job extremely well done, and best of luck as you wrap up a successful Navy career and begin your transition to civilian life. I look forward to staying in touch and hearing about your many successes on the other side. Eric, I know that you are eager to assume command today, and I know that you are ready. In fact, I knew you were ready 4 years ago when you were at Group 6, essentially serving as the XO of what would become CWA 66. You were my first choice to serve as acting XO at the Group 6 level whenever Bill Daniels was out, and I ranked you number 1 of 28 lieutenant commanders. I saw your potential back then, and I am proud to see you take this next of many steps in an already impressive career. Your efforts as CSA 63 XO have been vital to the command's progress. I know that you will bring your own leadership experience and cyber expertise to bear as you take Team 63 to even greater heights. I'm confident that you will take ownership and command, just as Dave did. Congratulations on the hard work and dedication that have gotten you to this milestone, and I wish you all the best in command. Your time at the helm is going to fly by, so enjoy every minute and make every single one count. To the men and women of Cyber Strike Activity 63, it has truly been an inspiration to watch you grow as a command, as a team, and as our preeminent offensive cyber operations force. Continue to set the example for our shipmates across Fleet Cyber Command and the Joint Cyber Mission Force. Your new skipper will take great care of you, strive to likewise take care of him, and work together to make your command even better. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for being here today. I wish each of you the very best. Thank you, and go Navy, beat Army. No comments, Dave.
Thank you, Captain Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Commodore Udisky will now present a personal declaration to Commander Gutierrez. Attention to order. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal to Commander David M. Gutierrez for outstanding meritorious service while serving as the Executive Officer and Commanding Officer, Cyber Strike Activity 63, from December 2018 to December 2021. Commander Gutierrez displayed exceptional leadership and vision through unprecedented global cyber threats and the coronavirus disease pandemic, while expertly leading more than 320 sailors and civilians in delivering offensive and defensive cyberspace operations against multiple Tier 1 adversaries. Commander Gutierrez's exceptional professionalism, loyal devotion to duty, but be credit on him, and we're in keeping with your highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of Cyber Strike Activity 63, Commander David Gutierrez.
Try and do this a little more gracefully than you, but I'm going to mess it up. So, yes, sir. Here you go. I'm not sure why it was so saturated, but so I feel a little bit awkward because Captain Johnson ranked Eric number 1. And he's my only 05 that I rank, and I ranked him number 2. So my apologies. We can maybe fix that before today is over. So good morning, family, friends, shipmates. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to begin most appropriately with some well-deserved thank yous. Thank you first off to the Change of Command Committee. Without you, we do not properly honor our Navy's traditions, and today is just does not happen. Last change of command occurred near the beginning of the pandemic. And at that time, I thank the team for their significant efforts in making it completely virtual. There were changes, and Erica was literally the only guest. She felt completely obligated to be there. And nobody else wanted to come. So it was very, very convenient at that time, but literally the only guest, and the entire ceremony was virtual. This time around has been particularly challenging with seemingly continuous policy changes, guest limitations, me adding a retirement to the end of it, vaccine statuses, base access, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on. So thank you so much to the team. You make this final product look easy, and it's not easy. There's a ton of planning that goes into it, and I'm extremely grateful. And it sounds like Chief Avola Hess came up to me after, and my wife is now your new best friend, apparently. So that was immediate, and there's zero surprises there. So thank you for making today possible. I want to give a special thanks to Mrs. Maher and the class. Hopefully, if you guys are watching, thank you so much for the letters. Maya and I read through them. Last night, I was just looking through and just completely humbled by the fact that you did that. As a military family, we rely on and thrive in the support of our communities and bless our family with your sweet letters, your artwork. I am just so thankful for you taking the time to make us feel supported and for making my daughter feel so special. You know the way to my heart, and we are just so incredibly grateful that our kids and the kids of that class are led by such an amazing teacher. So thank you. Commodore Yudiski, thank you, ma'am. As you said, the relationship started out just a bit rough. I don't know. But, I appreciated your professionalism. You never responded to my potential lack of professionalism in the moment. And I thank you for being the leader that you're being and for presiding over this ceremony. Thank you for your kind words, ma'am. It has been a pleasure serving with you for the short time we had. And I am just happy to see Group 6 in your capable hands. I wish you the best of luck as you continue to lead with grace, compassion, and I'm so excited for the crew. Captain Johnson, it's really awkward that I would have to turn completely around to talk to you. But first off, I do really appreciate the fact that you literally took the entire list of nice things that I had to write up for you by order, and you used them all in your list, in your speech. So the fact that all my suggestions made it was pretty awesome. But I will say, I was completely unaware of your effort to talk to the crew, and I'm just completely humbled. I was trying not to tear up over there, but I thank you for that's just another example of your thoughtful leadership and creativity, and I'm very grateful for it. That will stick with me forever. All joking aside, I can remember as a young Lieutenant JG, and I think even back then you were old for me. But I remember as a young JG, I didn't work for you. I never directly worked for you. We didn't know each other, but I had a gut feeling, and I don't recall at this moment what it was, but I had a gut feeling that you were a leader that I would want to emulate. More importantly, I knew that you were a good and decent man. Again, I don't know how I knew that, but it was a hunch, and I genuinely thank God that I followed my intuition in seeking you out. There has been no other officer I have gone to as frequently, nor for as many years, or for more advice than you. Thank you, sir. Your presence has bookended my career. Literally, I got to Hawaii. It was my first tour as a Crippy, and you're here today. And I will always be grateful for your willingness to listen to my rants, quasi laugh at my jokes, offer sound advice, and tell me exactly what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it, regardless of how difficult the conversation was. We have enjoyed a ton of laughs, and I will also acknowledge that they were usually. I appreciate you, and you'll ever know. Dr. Mills, I am beyond blessed to have had a great biological father, an amazing step-up dad, not a stepdad, it's a step-up dad, and then you. Your presence on stage is extremely appropriate. The most important part of my life is my faith. And you have had a bigger part than almost anyone, in cultivating, inspiring, and fostering my spiritual growth. In the process, you became my dearest mentor and someone that I love like a dad. You have had a hand in many of my most significant life events, to include marrying my lovely wife and me. And I was reminiscing, Uncle Craig is here, and we had a moment at the wedding where he came up and gave me a hug. And I had a light suit on, and he had a dark suit with chocolate on it. He had gotten into the brownies before anybody else, apparently, and he dribbled a bit, had no idea. We hug, we pull away. I've got dark chocolate on a light suit, and you were the first person I saw, and you like jumped into action. You're like, hey, who's got a Tide stick? And and you just made it happen, and we got it fixed. Now, I will say I thought we had it fixed, but as Erica came down the aisle, the first thing, literally, her face changed. She walks up with a smile and says, what did you get on your suit? And I was like, it's Uncle Craig's fault. And I smiled, and that's what it was. But you immediately jumped into action, and you have been with us for all these years. You became my family's Uncle Bobby, and to that I am so grateful. You shared your home, your family, your wife, your children with us, and I just thank you for being here today and doing the honor of your prayers, not only today, but for all the years that I know you've been blessing my family and me through your love and your prayers. Thank you. CMC Carver, how's it going? Good. So I'll tell you, had some of the most, two things I received before today, so completely unprepared, but I got a Colorado beer opening coin from Chief of Old Hess, I'm sorry. So thank you for that. But Mass Chief gave me his anchors this morning. And for those of you not in the military, this is probably one of the most meaningful gifts I've ever gotten. So thank you. It is not going to save you from me making fun of you here, but this is very special, and I'll forever remember this. So thank you. CMC Carver. I was going to forego my tradition and not make fun of your age today, and I think I'm going to try to hold to that. But so I'll simply say that I'm sure your many, 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 many years of leadership experience have been a North Star for your career. What you realize is that your significant, extensive, numerous years of service and your life have also served as a North Star for me. You will forever be the last chief whose primary job it was to mentor me and ensure I didn't mess things up too badly. Seeing as we made it to this change of command, I'd say we did pretty well. There were some questions there at the early onset, and we made it to this point. Thank you for your sound advice, your mentorship, and most of all, your friendship these last couple of years. To the warriors of Cyber Strike Activity 63, there's a small representation here, but for those watching, when I took command, I thanked you for the opportunity to serve as commanding officer. And you remain some of the most intelligent, capable, and dedicated individuals this country has to offer. While in command, you have continued to impress and humble me, and the words you gave to Captain Johnson are just a continuation of that, and that will be special for me forever. I will cherish the experience and treasure the friendships that I leave this command with. I pray that I held up my promise to do my best to honor, support, and help you achieve your highest and best. Thank you for making me better. I will miss you. To my friends and family, I am so grateful for my friends and family. I have been blessed with the most incredible friends who have always shown me and my family support. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Both those who are here in person and those virtually, but especially those who made the effort to be here in person. I'm just kidding. I love you all very deeply, and I'm so grateful for you. Joking aside, in our family, we always say that our friends are the family that we choose. And I am just so appreciative for the sacrifices that you made to be part of this day. Some of you traveled all the way from California on a red eye. Thank you. And others of you took a road trip with 5 children in tow just to be here. You know who you are. You have to know who you are, because there's literally one of you out there that has 5 children you took a road trip with. Many of you left businesses, you took off work, and you made multiple sacrifices to be here today. And I just thank you so much, and I love you all. To my family, I'm not going to go too deep here because we have a retirement and I have limited words and tears, so I'm not going to ruin that speech. But I will say that I am so thankful for you always believing in me and supporting this life that our family has chosen. You've shown us so much support over the years, whether it's babysitting our dogs while we go overseas. I don't really consider babysitting, but the housing our crazy family on our annual summer trips, or taking weeks at a time to visit and help with the kids. We could not have done this tour or this career without your support. I love you all dearly. To my wife, I will never be able to fully express my gratitude and love for you. As Jake comforts you and combs your hair, it's just like so sweet, so sweet. Jakey, you never disappoint, my man. You never disappoint. There is no command, no career, no Navy family, no possibility for this life without you. Oh boy. You're the one who deserves the award for this, for the impossible jobs that you make possible. And I love you very much. To my babies, hey, you, I'm talking to you. I love you. Maya, Jakey, Noah Bear, your daddy loves each of you more than you will ever know. And just always remember, I love you more. Much more than you love me, right, buddy? We get into a debate up here. A change of command is a day that highlights the dichotomy of leadership and service. And it is bittersweet almost by design. In one hand, you have the honor of command, something many naval officers strive for the better part of 20 years to achieve without the guarantee of ever being selected. Spending nearly 2 decades pursuing the privilege to command. And in the other hand, you get to enjoy the role for a fraction of the time it took to actually get there. In one hand, you enjoy the incredible thrill of taking command. And immediately there you have a feeling of the weight of knowing that your decisions will have a potentially long-lasting impact and influence on a unit and its crew for good and bad. And then after experiencing some of the longest, most difficult days you've had in your career, you find yourself in what seems like no time at all, turning over to someone else to repeat the cycle. There's a bittersweet relief of completing a significant, life-changing, and meaningful tour with realizing now that you wear the command pin on the other side of your chest, potentially never to have the opportunity to command again. The highest of highs, like meritoriously promoting sailors, which I got to experience in just great measure, to being asked to administer the oath for an advancing officer, and being given the privilege to enlist exceptional sailors, these are all intertwined with the devastating loss of a fellow walking with a shipmate at most difficult time. These are the dichotomies that not only define our service, but they shape us as sailors, men, women, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and shipmates. While the change of command is steeped in Navy tradition and lore with pomp, circumstance, and many formalities, let's not forget the laughter that we shared. The things that I will most remember and take with me are gratitude and joy. When I think back to all these experiences, I am filled with pure joy for the blessing of being able to serve with each of you. And while I cannot see the crew, I am forever grateful for the CSA 63 sailors who challenge me daily through your numerous personal and operational feats to be a better person and to be a better leader. I pray that I have in some way contributed to your lives in giving you just a fraction of the inspiration and joy that you've given me. Eric, my final thank you goes today to you. One never knows who they're going to be partnered with when accepting command. And I truly thank God for the gift of a loyal, dedicated, honorable, faithful, and exceptionally smart right-hand man. You checked on board with the qualifications of command firmly established, as Captain Johnson highlighted. And it was my pleasure to serve next to you. I know the love you have for our sailors, and I am absolutely so excited for you, and especially for the crew. You will do an amazing job. Jennifer, Katie, my man George, Amy, congratulations to you as well. Your husband and dad does not have the successful and rich career that he has without you. I have enjoyed his stories about each of you, and I will not share what he shared with me because there's some pretty good ones and you would probably be mortified, but we have laughed with you, and I will say that there's also been an additional healthy dose of Fred and Winston stories to go around. So if you could give them a scratch behind the ear and maybe throw them some full table scraps and sandwiches and things that they enjoy taking from your tables, that'd be greatly appreciated. But I will tell you, when your dad and husband tells me stories about each of you, I don't look at him as a naval officer and a shipmate. I hear a father, a loving husband and a loving father whose number one priority is each of you. Today is a special day, not only for him, but for you guys. With that, I turn CSA 63 over to you, my friend. God bless you and lead well.
Thank you, Commander Gutierrez. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the reading of orders. Attention orders.
I will now read my orders. Buper's order number 3191, when directed by reporting senior, detached December 2021 from Cyber Strike Activity 63. Proceed to home of selection.
I will now read my orders. Buper's order 2861, when directed by reporting senior, detached December 2021 from Cyber Strike Activity 63 as executive officer and report for duty as commanding officer, Cyber Strike Activity 63.
Weiss, I'm ready to lead. Ma'am, I have been properly lead as commanding officer of Cyber Strike Activity 63.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Commander Weiss will now have his command of short pin placed on him by his mother, Judy Weiss.
Shove it in there as hard as you can, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Eric Weiss, Commanding Officer, Cyber Strike Activity 63.
Yes.
Who made my mom cry? Wow. I am so truly humbled. This is amazing. Commander Gutierrez reminded me before we walked up here, I'm the only person standing between him and the retirement ceremony, so I'm just going to make this as brief as possible. Thank you, Commodore Udisky. Thank you for presiding over the ceremony. Your measured approach to leadership with the right mix of poise and compassion are exactly what we need at the helm of Group 6 this time. I will do my absolute best to meet your expectations for the charge of command. Captain Johnson, I truly appreciate the kind words. It's an honor to have the Deputy Commander of Cyber National Mission Force to be part of this. It's only fitting. I look forward to the continued partnership and provide you a training force. For distinguished guests here, Captain Jacobson, Commander Perez, who we started this journey off together. Remember that almost 20 years ago. For those of you here that were able to be here, my shipmates, our guests online, many of you have been career-long mentors. Thank you for taking the time out on this day to witness this event. To the Change of Command Committee, thank you for making this as easy as just showing up. 18 months ago, we had a single guest present for this Change of Command. It is an entirely virtual event. This year, we built a wonderful plan that allowed for 150 guests. Then COVID and policy reared its ugly head. We had to chop it down to 50. But we in the military are aware no plan survives execution. True to our naval traditions, alone and unafraid, you rolled up your sleeves and made this ceremony absolutely awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mills. Thank you for your prayers over our assembly for this event. Thank you to the men and women of Cyber Strike Activity 63. When I selected for command, I was given a list of available command opportunities and was required to prioritize my preferences. And as Commodore Udisky can tell you, the detailer at the time, there was no question in my mind who was going to be my first choice. It was you. I won't bore you with the details of how I got to this point in my life. But the day my cousin, Captain Steve Minning, USNR, retired, enlightened me to Navy cryptology and the darker arts of cyber operations, I was hooked. At no point have I doubted the impact of my shipmates and how they've had an impact on my career. No person advances in the military without the help of a team. And the more senior I become, the more humble and thankful I've been for my shipmates and their effect on my career. For the past decade, our military has been asked time and again to do more with less. Over the last 18 months as your XO, I've had the pleasure to witness the amazing triumphs of the men and women of CSA 63 despite those constraints. I'm honored to serve as your fourth commanding officer. I'm certain your part of the fight is the most important piece of the security of this nation. I will not falter or waver being your biggest cheerleader, and when necessary, your most fierce protector. Thank you, David. I couldn't have asked for a better CO. On board, I realized your game was strong. And I was happy to accept that challenge. And I won't bring any of that up here because, well, it might not proceed much further. although it is always funny, it's not all fun and games at the command suite. And when I say suite, I say cubicle farm. You taught me that laughter is an important part of leadership. Just about one of the most important because of the tough times sometimes we have to go through. It's been a privilege to observe your zealous support for our sailors and their careers. Your passion for our Navy junior sailors are probably unmatched in my 19 years of service. Your ability to connect with each person at a personal level is a rarity and something that makes you so endearing to our team. I just want you to, I know you know that. I'm certain these qualities are vital to why we're so successful, certain of it. But foremost, you are a dedicated husband and father. The joy in your eyes when discussing your family, no matter the context, has been an inspiration to me as a father and a husband. Thank you. Because of COVID, we never had the opportunity to meet in person until today, but I feel like I know Erica, Jake, Noah, and Maya like they are family. I wish you the greatest happiness and success. My friend, the Gutierrez family has earned this. Lastly, to my family, I am so grateful for you. Cousin Steve, thank you for your mentorship from day one. From seaman to captain, yours is a true success story. Thank you for lighting the path on my journey. To Dory and Walter, my in-laws, I have taken your daughter and grandchildren across the world, something you never signed up for, and it's been hard. You're always in the forefront of our thoughts, and despite our proximity from one another. To my mother, Judy, you're the driving factor that led to my ambition and determination. Me and I have always been evident, but it is always present. You've always been my biggest supporter. I love you dearly. Katie, George, and Amy, you never had much of a say in our travels. I know it's been a challenge, but you always did it with open hearts and open minds. Thank you so much. I love you so much. I cherish every moment we have together. And to Jen, you've been in the mix of it from the beginning. Every time I have a talk with a detailer, your response is, whatever's best for your career, we're going to make it work. You're the glue that holds our family together. I love you so very much, and I'm eternally grateful for you. With that over, please execute the plan of the day.
Thank you, my wife. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction and the departure of the official parties.
Let's pray. Oh God, it's been good to be here today. Thank you for the privilege that you've given to us to be part and party of what you're doing in these men's lives, the life of their families. God, two words come to my mind as we prepare to go, what David shared. That is times of gratitude and times of joy. We've experienced both of those here today. So now, oh God, I pray that your spirit would be near all to defend us, within us to refresh us, around us to preserve us, before us to guide us, behind us to justify us, and above us to bless forevermore. And it's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Motion, post the side boys. Cyber strike activity 63, attention. Captain, United States Navy, departing. Cybernetic Warfare Group 6, departing. Cyber Strike Activity 63, departing. Commander, United States Navy, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Guests and members are cordially invited to join us for the wreath ceremony for Commander Gutierrez, which will begin in approximately 15 minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the retirement ceremony of Commander David. COVID protocol today. All right, I'm Captain Blake Jacobson, your master of ceremonies. Please remain silent all electronic devices. Will the guests please stand for the reading of the colors, or parading the colors? Color guard, parade the colors. Color guard, okay, good. Okay, colors. Ready, good. Forward, march. March on, march. Ready, go. Left, right. Parade color. Okay, parade color. Ready, go. Ready, two, right, straight. Forward, march. Yes, please. You will now enjoy a brief video.
thank you for everything, Commander Gutierrez. Really appreciate you letting me go IA and wear my blue running shorts during all hands calls. Thank you.
We get paid to do a job. No one paid to care. Thank you for all you have done for all of us here under your charge, sir. Farewell, all of you.
Sir, congratulations on making it to the finish line. I'm sure back in your academy days, you felt like this moment would never come, and yet you've blinked and here you are. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for everything that you have done for myself, for my sailors, for this command. We needed you. We needed you at our best moments and at our worst moments. And there was never a point where you did not put us first. I hope if your peers take anything away from you and what you did for us, it's that sailors always have to come first. And we are people outside of uniform, and everything that we do affects that. And you did it better than anyone I've ever known. I know that you have set a legacy that others will look forward to and try to embody for the rest of their careers and their lives. I wish you nothing but the best. I am so glad that you will finally get to go spend your time with Erica and the kids, and I hope you have a ton of fly fishing in your future, or whatever it is you enjoy doing in your off time. I'm sure you'll have time to figure that out now. But thank you so much. Thank you for every moment, even the hard ones. We needed you, and we are just so grateful for everything. Congratulations again, sir. Thanks.
Sir, it's been an honor and a privilege serving under your command. I can speak for everyone here at CACC that you will truly be missed. I want to thank you for all the leadership and the guidance that you've provided to us over these past few years. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. This is Gutierrez Castillo saying, there winds and fall in the seas.
Hi, sir. I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you've done for our command. You definitely have implemented mission first and sailors always, and I truly believe that, and thank you so much.
Welcome, family, friends, guests, and shipmates to the special occasion, the retirement ceremony of Commander David Gutierrez from the United States Navy. This ceremony is the final stage in our whole career that spans 20 years of naval service. In this time honored naval tradition, you will witness speeches honoring your accomplishments, presentation awards, and other ceremonial traditions that commemorate Commander Gutierrez's stellar service to our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest speaker is Commander David Gutierrez, U.S. Navy. Commander Perez was triple warfare officer with prior military experience in engineering, repair, and development. Commander Perez was born in Queens, U.S., raised in Puerto Rico, and enlisted in the Navy in 1989. He has served on numerous naval platforms and been stationed all over the world. He obtained master's degrees in human relations from Oklahoma University in 2005, Asian Security Studies from Navy Postgrad School in 2009, and Master's Security Studies from American Public University in 2010. Commander Perez is a proud husband, father, leader, and coach. His leadership and team efforts have earned him the Defense Military Service. And now? Okay. All right, Commander David Gutierrez is a native of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and graduated from the Naval Academy in 2002 as number 1,890 or 1,890. His class of bachelor's degree in English and astrology. Seeing how the Navy Times had already filled the horoscope column in position, he was sent to Navy Information Operations Command 9 on Hawaii several important points to go over. The board's deliberations were so active, we had a 99% success rate at determining whether the team was successful. The 1% error rate team were victims of cancer. The successes in Iraq prompted him to write the article Teamwork Keeps the Dream, featured on his LinkedIn profile. Following his success in Hawaii, Commander Gutierrez reported to Mount Colorado, where he served as department head and eventually the command executive officer. Well known to all is the fact that while in Colorado, Commander Gutierrez went back to his home city of New Mexico, where he visited the 1,000-year-old city of House Pueblo. During his visit, he began seeing additions to shaman spiritual programs, speaking about it. He then traveled to the reservation to have his visit trained with him. When the told the shaman had spoken the words, "You will be great." After further research, it was discovered the words "great" and "false" and similar amounts. Commander Gutierrez knew his part, but the shaman actually spoke. After Colorado, Commander Gutierrez was sent to U.S. Naval Forces Bureau of Africa, U.S. Fleet for Naval Activities. After leaving Italy, Commander Gutierrez attended the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island, where he earned his master's degree in national security and strategic studies. Again, the graduate was number 29 of 29. He would eventually arrive at U.S. Cyber Command and become the chief exercise commander. His last stop was in Cyber Strike Activity 63, where he would act as executive officer and present command. His education and training with crew military activity involved in active cargo display. Commander Gutierrez has yet to develop a successful strategy for convincing CC Carver to join him in story. Commander Gutierrez is also known for his lighthearted nature and love support for CC Carver for his age. Although he is virtually the same age, as well as partaking of the during that season. Commander Gutierrez has been an exemplary leader during his career and has demonstrated as much to his humility and respect for his subordinates. He decided to spend more time with his loving wife, Erica, and children, who always brings proxy like referred to him to his brother. Commander Gutierrez early in the following
First, I want to thank our leadership and my friend David for being the opportunity and honor of being the guest speaker during this special event. Today we celebrate the culmination of 20 years of honorable, dedicated, and successful service in the nation. You can see how good. That served stateside, overseas, onboard direct support for Japanese at the top of the level. Fleet staff of the operational level, supported space and cyber. He also served with distinction twice. The work of the record top this off as a witness today, and the impressive military career. Before going deeper into today's journey, I want to highlight a critical part of these support. It is the most important aspect of those of us who are first, on behalf of the shipmates, I want to thank this parent for taking the role in shaping this new youth. For them as well. A special thanks goes out to the Black America, including Maya, Ruby, and Rose. Military spouses and their children make tremendous sacrifices in support of their military families. By extension, move after move, they are inundated with boxers, school enrollments are followed by disenrollments, new friends become old ones, and new exciting strangers become ironically, those same networks of friends who once all felt hope that previously lives were heavy in the and were captured by the same somehow his family managed to develop offers of our story and the It grew stronger by focusing on the excitement of the new assignment, the explorations of new places, foods, cultures, and so much more important. They made friends who became their family. They went to school, went to life, and the best of it ever. There were many more people who became part of their network. Some of them are here today to help them deal with the challenges each new community faces. I think there's no more powerful way to understand these experiences than from practical days. To share that saying goodbye to the military is bittersweet. So many of our memories and adventures we have living all over the world, and friendships we made are human. The people who celebrate holidays and birthdays that is too far from home became our family, and our kids' aunts and uncles. The transitions were always a challenge, and often the opportunity to stop us exploring areas of culture always ended up being a very as a leader to above, military troops make tremendous sacrifice. But they serve too. I wanted to give voice to the young job I served and I asked her, what was her favorite part of her dad's career? The answer was that so many people all over America appreciate it. I found it very touching that her family was not the only people that love, respect, and about challenges, the most challenging things of all time is my dad being very hard getting through a day without missing. She will miss being moved around the world because she got to meet so many amazing people in every place. She was most proud of her dad, but her dad had the courage to get him there. And that he has come so far in his career. He said, I'm so proud of my dad. Dave and I have shared the last year preparing for transition. We've been able to witness each other navigate the challenges of preparing for transition. Not only we experience a whole host of feelings during this period, fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. I'm certain that some of these feelings try to shape me as well. The one thing that I admire in Dave is his love and faith in God and family. The mutual love and support they give each other seems to energize him to pursue and achieve so many endeavors. But his principles and values are anchored in his faith in the Lord. One of his favorite biblical verses reveals a lot about his focus and effort. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. That's working for the Lord, not for human excellence. Since you know that you will receive inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ. I believe this is the source that has allowed him to build his multi-criminal business across the country while serving in the network of leaders and influencers around the nation. Develop his knowledge and perspective on leadership, entrepreneurship, and lead and then follow. That even his last week or 2 months, due to holidays, he motivated and people fitness and of course, he has been doing this while leading the command. His planning and execution have been his success. But his love for family and faith help propel him to one thing leaders often ponder is as we prepare to our 45. Maybe he is asking himself whether he has accomplished all the things he wanted, or whether he made the difference in history for people before this chapter came to an end. We didn't talk much about medicine, but having served with me in Italy and spent the last 6 months as a community, I have learned something important this very special evening. Something that truly matters. David is honest, genuine, he's generous. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He's charismatic, jovial, always finding a way to brighten and lighten someone's day. He tries to lift others by spreading his positive energy. He's full of passion, and he's willing to speak truth to power when he feels strongly. He is a servant leader. Unlike me. As a naval officer, he epitomizes service, putting the needs of others first, empowering them and helping them discover the true potential. During our tour of Italy, I witnessed his selfless acts countless times, always giving credit to others that show him the team from the larger fires coming from the other people. He trusted his people and let them go to ship. After work, and during the weekend, without fail, his father and his family. He parked the car, changed his clothes, and headed to the factory. As for the future, I know that his principles, values, and goals got him through the journey thus far, and will get him through the next chapter. I'm sure he will continue to serve the Almighty, family, and impact the community in the years ahead. Hebrews 6:10, search that God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you show him as you have helped his people. Today we are here to build the remarkable and honorable chapter of your life and turn the first page on this new and exciting one that awaits you, Erica, and my loving and now salute you one last time. Take the hand and speed me along. Dave, welcome, brother. Amen.
At this time, we will begin presenting numerous awards and recognitions. We would like to begin with Gutierrez's wife, Erica, and their children, Maya, Jacob, and Noah. Commander Perez will now present Mrs. Gutierrez with a certificate of appreciation. Certificate reads as follows. Certificate of appreciation from the United States Navy. To all who see these presents, greetings. Erica A. Gutierrez, by the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy due to your enduring, fruitful partnership in supporting the President Davis as he served his country. We recognize the crucial role spouses play in serving alongside their loved ones and honor their contributions and sacrifices made by military spouses and families. The United States Navy thanks you for your unselfish, faithful, and devoted service during David's Navy career. Your unfailing support and understanding helped me accomplish the husband's lasting contributions to the Navy. Given this 10-day of December 2021. Commander Perez will now recognize Commander Gutierrez's children, Maya, Jacob, and Noah, with certificates of appreciation. The certificates read as follows. Certificate of appreciation from the United States Navy. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. Maya, Jacob, and Noah. The authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for enduring the fruitful partnership and supporting the father David as he served his nation. We recognize the crucial role families play in serving alongside their loved ones and honor the contributions and sacrifices you have made. The United States Navy thanks you for your unselfish, faithful, and devoted service unfailing support and understanding of the possible cause of life and given this Tuesday, December 2020. Thank you to the Gutierrez family. We will now read Commander Gutierrez's certificate. Please hold applause until after the reading of the We will now present Commander Gutierrez with the President's certificate of award to use as follows. For service in the armed forces of the United States, I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation for the grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with respect to the devotion, duty, and spirit of sacrifice to keeping with the five traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication has been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps. And to all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Joseph R. Biden, Jr. Next, the certificate from the Governor of Colorado, citation reads, Dear Mr. Gutierrez, on behalf of the state of Colorado, it is my distinct pleasure to congratulate you on all your well-deserved retirement. After 20 years of service in the United States Navy, you have proven a unique ability to build and plan and lead sailors. I greatly admire the dedication you have demonstrated over the last 2 decades, and I commend you for all you have accomplished in that time. As you enter into retirement, you can be confident in knowing that the leader facilities you have developed over the years will continue to move forward and grow because of the important work you've done throughout your career. Again, congratulations on your retirement and I wish you the best of luck in the future of your Sincerely, Gutierrez, President. And finally, Commander Perez will now present Commander Gutierrez with his retirement order. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all of you shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that David N. Gutierrez, Commander of the United States Navy, having served faithfully and honorably for 1 decade, will retire from the United States Navy on the first day of June 2024. Signed, John P. Miller, Vice Admiral, United States Navy, Chief of Navy Personnel. Commander Gutierrez will now be presented with his shadow box and a gift from the CSA's reward him to honor his 20 years of service to our nation and Navy. The shadow box is a traditional commemorative honoring the career of a naval officer. Each shadow box is unique, reflecting the tribute to our American and officers' years of service. Presenting Commander Gutierrez with his shadow box presents him with our era and our name. Commander Gutierrez's shadow box is framed to resemble the Navy officer's crest. At the top and close within the people's wing, the most honored and cherished symbol for the members of the armed forces, the national anthem. Close within the shield is the culmination of 20 years of dedicated service. Each piece exemplifies honor, courage, commitment, and devotion to a cause greater than himself. And finally, at the bottom of the ordinary coin, rather a point practiced in the very top of the chapel building, which reaches above the U.S. Naval Academy. Surveying the Gutierrez's first steps in his naval career. So now, wherever this step to lead in the journey before, for the sacred ground, be with him to guide the Lord of America. The chairman of the Warden, Lieutenant Commander Martinez, will now present Commander Gutierrez with a gift of CSA's reward. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Commander David Gutierrez, United States Navy. Those of you that know me, know that I'm very rarely at a loss of words. I lost the words, and when I walked in here, I just completely humbled, and I wasn't gonna cry. I wasn't gonna. I kept telling myself that, but this is shock. So eternally grateful and humbled and thankful for that. All right, thank you guys. What an awesome day today is. There's always a ton of mixed emotions when you get to this point, especially now. It's a really question. So, vastly different than that. But in true fashion, I think you know my heart, and this is exactly the way that not introverted. And probably a bit of a atypical for our community. This is exactly how I'm doing with my teams, and I definitely make that happen. Some dread this day, for children in a lifetime, another student just another day. Mixed emotions. I can say that I'm just so excited to be able to say that I love children in the country. And so appropriately, I prepared remarks. I'm extremely blessed by the relationship that I've created over the last 20 years. This embodies what is truly most important to me. It's the people, the relationships, and that you guys read my speech. A lot of you are grandkids and those who potentially did my speech. Sorry. I will always carry my relationship with you that I've experienced through this career, and can honestly say it's always been my goal. Mission is important, there will always be mission, but the people are the really make it special. I can also say that I'm excited to return home with my family. I know my wife is not just excited about the prospect of me being home, but she's excited about the fact that the baby will be hanging out, maybe catch a breath for 6 months of not being Blake, Captain Kirk, I thank you for bringing the MC my retirement. Because I thought you the people that have impacted my career and me as a man, you were the forefront of mine. As my ex showed, you constantly challenge me to grow. You are probably the most influential person to help us outside the family. I know that you're working on it pretty hard and you're on Colorado, but this course is getting out. And you will definitely one of those people that if not the main, maybe you you believe in me, you never hesitated to ask me to cover. At that time, we also became good. We have had a lot of conversations even recently, so much faith, real estate, everything between. I just will always appreciate you being part of it. Dave, Nevada. That means my brother in Spanish, my brother. I thank you for your time. I am humbled that a man that I admire as much as you had such gracious words on me. I legitimately thought that we just had how good that we were, especially from the last 6 months of being together. I will share that Dave and I, we just, the two of us, and the time we walk in and start singing and songs and dancing. And that sounds really strange coming out of my mouth right now. But hey, man, it's fun. If you weren't there, it was awesome. It's such a pleasure to come in and Dave be whipping up some seared ahi, and I throw on some Weiss. And as an dinner, equal measure, equal effort. And, that's how we did it. But I will always remember it. It's been great. I look up to you, Dave, as an officer, a dad, a friend, a brother. True to form, I look up to you as a really value you. Your love for me is humbling, but your love for my family is absolutely inspiring. You love my children. And you cannot ask for a better friend. It warms my heart when I see the excitement and the joy my babies have at the prospect of staying up today. We came in Wednesday night and want to make a deal on our basement for the it's work. You spoil my babies and you keep them like they are. You really do. And that's a common thing. But my family is yours and yours is mine, and that is very special. Thank you for your friendship and your companionship, all your thoughtful and thoughtful conversations, and your love and all. But looking around the room, I see so much love, support. It takes me back to the unique childhood that prepared me for a life of relocation and adventure. I have two supportive and caring parents who are willing to sacrifice anything and everything to ensure that your children's happiness is at the forefront. You enable our success. Thank you, Yaya and Ramsey, for always loving us, supporting us, and helping us to believe in ourselves. You never doubted our potential, even when I tried without anything to convince you that there is truly something wrong with you. Very appropriate that the first picture that popped up was me at the Middle Academy practice uniform. What are you laughing at? Not everybody's a Hall of Famer per se. So let's just make the practice team happy. Anyhow, the things that I remember most are the little things. Like when you guys are calling Midland to California all the way to practice. It was huge sacrifice. And it's greatly appreciated. But you also would always get a vehicle that fit me and a bunch of buddies and take us out to dinner. And love those little gestures. Some of those meaningful. You will never know how many of us do give it. And we're also cool. Now watching you with my babies and the love that you have for them fills my heart with absolute joy. I love you both so much and I'm thankful that family Sunday dinner is going to be a reality. Probably next Sunday. Adam. Yeah, Adam, that's his name. Adam. You always challenge me to be better. You really excel in everything you do. And last night I learned that you're still getting taller at 30. He doesn't. You're still growing taller. Your hair is beautiful. You grow a very masculine beard. And I'm just so proud. I hope you know how proud of you I am and how much I just relish in your time. You are an incredible little officer and pilot. More importantly, you are a loving and fun dad and steward. You drove home the other day from the airport. Maya was saying
and how excited she was to see us. Then we started in with the Merry Christmas. And I just want to give you an opportunity if you'd like to take one of your best. Up to you. Mike is yours on the Oh, you're good. That's fine. That's good. At dinner last night, my kids did not get close enough. They were literally fighting. Had you surrounded and fighting on each and close enough. You guys did enough to they were fighting to be next to you. That was so special. As great as I think you are, as much as I love you, bro, I must say that my team leader, that's attribute is Tia, if you're out there, you laugh at literally every single one of my jokes. Every one of my jokes. And there is not much that makes me happier than performing for you and hearing you laugh. It is truly thank you for coming all the way. That's some pretty amazing names and numbers as well. Lena, and number for them, this baby journey starting in the living. I still remember the Christmas that we spent with you and Diane Ramsey intercepted my naval academy acceptance letter, framed it, and I've been waiting on the deal for months and months. And I was convinced I was never going to do something. But I actually did not think I was going to do anything. I didn't apply anywhere else, so it could be problematic very quickly. But they took the letter, they framed it, and I opened that, and really, that much of the thing, of the 20-year career at that time, I know it would take me this long. That would take me 20 years, but you have both been a part of my life and my earliest memories, and good love is always there. Continue to be in our corner, giving so much support, love my entire family, and I'm extremely grateful for you. PT Uncle Craig, we love you guys so much. You are so generous in giving with your time, your effort, your love. Our annual trips, you are a highlight of the year. You'll laugh, spend countless hours planning multiple excursions, and then get through those excursions in fraction of time. But the planning is really lovely. You just always enjoy the memories, and they're not even memories. Even this next summer, endless rounds and rounds of four-wheel ride trips that Craig stresses through the fight the dirt climbing mounds, and I typically being able to find your love language. We have a special bond that is a blessing to Eric and me. We're both very important to us, and I'm grateful for it. I am blessed with the best friends that anybody could ever imagine. There are a couple anecdotes and sayings that come to mind, and I think of my friends. I've heard it said that you come to the end of your life and you can say you have 5 true friends. Those individuals you know will do anything for you, anytime, anywhere, anything. But you are truly unique. I can say without hesitation that I am truly and deeply blessed. The dude who's been by my side for the longest, honestly, by being here, might be your brother since you were the same age as mine. You were at my Naval Academy graduation, and I started my Navy career, and having you here that finished out. To my dear friends here in person and virtually, I thank God for you by name. It's also said that you are the sum that people use to find myself. I am surrounded by exceptional human beings, exceptional friends. And I will continue to strive to be better so that this will hang out with me. My friends are truly my family, and I love you all. I will also offer that my mask is disgusting. My sweet baby girl, I adore you. I adore you. You are growing up entirely too fast. You're such a little lady, and I honestly believe that most of our friends and family think would most likely rather have a conversation with you. I love how dedicated you are and how hard you try, whether it's reading books, maybe with a ride, or working on your soccer game, you put in work. You're just so darn mature and you put so much on you as always child that sometimes you forget to do anything. But to be fair, sometimes you forget. When I look at you, I want to be the best daddy in the world. I want nothing more than for you to wake up every single morning and know that you have a mommy and know that you have a mommy and daddy that love you with all their heart. I love you much more than I'm so proud of you. Jakey, you're not escaping this. You have to stop moving. Roll over. We're going to burn about 4,000 calories since we started today. Dude, you are the sweetest kid I have ever met, buddy. The sweetest kid I have ever met. I don't know anyone who genuinely feels the hugs are the hardest. Your face squeeze kisses are the most intense and painful. When you love, your love is the most pure. I also often wonder what's going on in your head. Whether I'm watching you get totally immersed in building your Legos and you come out and do dinosaurs or something, just a box of Legos, absolutely amazing. Or as I follow you around as you wander away in small places like Disney World and random ferry ports in New York City, you literally never turn around one time to see. I am often left questioning the relationship so deeply. I actually believe if I did not intervene, you would still be running down the road right now. Not the least concerned where your parents are. And I tell you what, this is part of your beauty. And I love you so much. I love everything about you. Noah Bear. Look at me in line. I love you. You are the best helper and daddy I've ever imagined. I have never seen a kid so willing to spend hours outside just working. You're always by my side. You're my lawnmower dude, my leaf breaker bagger guy, my mailbox post setter construction man, the snow shoveling buddy, and anything else we can put on some safety glasses. I'm so excited for all the things you're going to build on the dog food, you're going to scoop. And I just am looking forward to our time together. I also love your heart. Your one teacher calls you a peacemaker. She says you're a peacemaker like a biblical peacemaker. Well, I'm going to have to request the actual data set that she's using to support that designation because I have questions for it. I have questions, but I'm so thankful and proud of you for who you are outside out. You complete our family and you make me laugh so hard and I just look forward to our snuggles. I love you. I will play. My wife, there's really no words to express what you mean to me and our family. The last 6 months are a great example of peace go off and it's been going on for years. We decided to get back to Colorado early so they could start school, sports, and our new life. Took our kids and the dog and settled in a house 100 miles away without a husband and much furniture. We began with this town with love, grace, tons of patience, and equal out tears. And maybe some struggle between the eye and the force in there. Sports, school, COVID vaccines, contractors, the business, took care of it all. It reminds me of the time right before the very computer Hawaii, I was under the ocean somewhere in the south, going to take care of dinner, go and communicate, and you decided to make the trip. I sent one single message to yourself, I gave you one message. They said, do not come. I said, do not come. Call the fire out, please get this to Erica. All of a sudden, give the phone number, just call her, and tell her 6 weeks, and it was, I think I started. But you decided to make a trip anyway, somehow figuring out how to get in a truck and how to get to the condo. You immediately set the pain of transporting an house to your home, and you just made it work. And then, like now, you didn't just survive and thrive in the process. Your discipline, your strength, your sheer stamina is always left me in awe. I'm blessed to have you in my life. My best friend, my educator, you make me want to be better, better man than I can be. I look forward to my sincerest prayer is that you know I love and appreciate you. I'm so thankful for the sacrifice, all the sacrifices you made to make this life. Finally, those who cannot make it here today, I'm so appreciative for you joining me. Thank you. Pops, we miss you, we love you. We look forward to seeing you soon. All my friends and family and loved ones that I know I've forgotten, you've been a burden for lack of things on my part. And your influence in my life has nothing to do with my lack of thinking. So appreciative. I love you all. That's all I've got. Thank you again for making today special. I am truly, uniquely blessed young.
You have all drawers.
Senator Gutierrez will now be presented with the United States flag. The flag presents a quote. How about, hey. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Gutierrez. I fly across the world and all the world. I can't walk in all the I fly to justice of the greatest institution of higher leadership. I stand guard of the greatest military power in the world. Look up. Speak. I stand for peace, power, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am humble. I am holy. I am proud. I am formed with my fellow veterans and head to the little island. My colors, the little spirit. My battle. I am country all over the world. I am listening. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved. I am feared. I have fought every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Chicago, Appomattox, San Juan, Princeton, Northern Ireland, Rome, the Beaches of Normandy, Guam, Ireland, Korea, Vietnam, Korea, Airmen and Marines. I follow them. I love them. They love me. I was on Smallville and I was burdened, battlefield, and tired. And my soul was tears when I was trapped. I was at ground zero in New York City, September 11th, as cowardly fanatic attacked America. I was raised from the ashes of the once proud building of a brave firefighter. Heroes who risked their lives to save us, showing all that America, although blood, will never be defeated. Those who would destroy me cannot win, for I am the symbol of freedom. One name is the God, living in hope of liberty and justice. It is by those who honor and serve the that I shall overcome, that I am strong. I submit to them, and I have been son all of them. Hey. Or, Wilson, stand by the pipe side. Enter Gutierrez, going to shore. The book in the side will be Wilson. Tradition dictates that the 20 years since sailor has stood the watch. This order has been passed on naval ships from the 1500s to today. Spanish, French, English, Dutch, yes, every navy in the world used the book call on flag boards to bring aboard the send destroyers off, visiting officers and dignitaries. The flag boys would haul on the rope and raise or lower the boarding platform so officers would not have to climb the raft, hanging over the side of the ship, used by the crew going ashore or coming aboard. This honor was extended to the dignitaries and court officials. It was not uncommon for the standing officer to give the order of the dollar bill, the crew of each strong back, flag bearer, and the boatman to send home ship and control officer to restore the town. Home, never to sail and naval vessel again. All hands on deck was passed. People donated about great victories, battle scars on the open sea, raging storm weather, holding reports of all other things. Then a fine sword, a brace of pistols, a rifle or musket, or maybe a sea chest of fine wood and bounded glass is presented to remind him of who the ship with which he has to do. The boatswain would stand tall, the side boys and the retirees would be questioned to go ashore. And step by the platform, and the side boys would roll away. So the jolly boys and the jolly boys away would generally require a salute in the ship's main battery. And the retirees sat in the stern seat, going ashore. They would stop up and lay about smuggling, and drop into the take honor and one going ashore. We honor the years served, the guidance, the leadership, the friendship, and the expertise that each of you has given for over 20 years. Soldiers and Gutierrez will reflect on this to go ashore for the last time.
For 20 years, this sailor has stood the watch. While some of us was in our bunks at night, this cryptologic wherefore officer stood the watch. While some of us was in school, learning our trade, this commander stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this commanding officer stood the watch. In the years when the clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history, this shipmate stood the watch. Many times he would cast an eye ashore, seeing his family standing there, needing his guidance and help, needing that hand to hold during tough times. But he still stood the watch. He stood the watch for 20 years. He stood the watch so that we, our family, and our fellow countrymen can sleep peacefully at night, knowing that a sailor stood the watch. Today we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stand relieved.
We lead by those who have trained, guided, and led. Those active and willing, please stand and come. And salute. Ready? Salute. Moses, stand by the pipe side. Shipmate going ashore.
If you feel that this commander has impacted you in any way, I implore you to man the rail. You say 63, line the hallways in the lane, the ring, RCO, the door.
Commander Gutierrez will now request permission to go forward with Commander Perez. Commander David Gutierrez, United States Navy, retired. Departed. Commander David Gutierrez, United States Navy, retired. James, departed. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal retirement ceremony. On behalf of Commander Gutierrez and his family, thank you very much for your attendance today.